स्वराज्य साम्राज्य विभूतिरेषा भवत्कृपा श्रीमहिमप्रसादात् प्राप्ता मया श्रीगुरवे महात्मने नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमस्तस्मै सदैकस्मै कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते. The subject is role of intelligence in devotional pursuit. I don't know whether I am fit for this topic. I cannot claim that devotional pursuit, whatever to be told, I am fit for that. But certainly I can share whatever I have felt throughout my life of sadhana, and also whatever I have seen in our association with Swamiji, with various devotees. There, where are the lapses, how they can be overcome. See, in that process we have found, or rather I have noticed that although all of us are enough intelligent, in the case of spiritual sadhana, devotional sadhana, generally we are not applying the intelligence always enough. That makes me choose this topic and speak about it. Even last year also, I think, last and a year before last also, I have spoken about it on Bhagavad Gita. The title most probably was Buddhau Sharanam Anvichya. Because throughout Bhagavad Gita and also the 11th skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is everywhere they are talking about knowledge, jnana, and removing the ajnana. Naturally, where is the ajnana sitting? It must be sitting in our buddhi. The knowledge dawns in our buddhi. So unless we are very clear about it and we apply always to understand where lies our goal, applying our buddhi, our sadhana will not fulfill its goal. What is that ultimate goal we are attempting? We have to have a very clear idea about it. At the same time, those who are applying buddhi intellectually very sharp and consider themselves to be following a path of knowledge, for them also I have found that mostly we miss the devotional part of it, without which knowledge cannot have perfection at all. That is why in Bhagavad Gita as well as Srimad Bhagavatam, everywhere the two are together. The jnana cannot be perfected without bhakti, and the bhakti does not reach its supreme goal without the knowledge. The two have to be together. The knower in Bhagavad Gita is a jnani and a bhakta together. He is not different. The two are not different. If it is only understanding with the intelligence, then well, it is theoretical understanding. Until whatever we have understood about our soul, about ourselves, until it becomes, there is an emotional association with that, until it becomes our feeling, our self-discovery, it will not fulfill us. It will not render its goal. it will not lead us to our goal. I remember one visitor had come to our ashram quite some time back. And after a few days of stay, she said that, don't you feel boring that every morning and evening you are chanting the same shlokas, the same mantras, the same songs? Don't you feel it to be boring? So that made me think about it, because before that I have been chanting the same things going on for about 10-15 years or so. I never felt boring. So what is it that she mentioned that she felt boring just listening to the same thing for a few days? And we found that, that the discovery was that the devotional part was missing. If in our songs also, and she is a singer, she has been a singer, if in our song that devotional content is missing, then we would like to sing every day new songs, new mantras, new chanting, new this way, that way, changeful things. But the role the devotion has to play is to connect us to the deepest truth through the chanting or singing, whatever we are doing in the prayer. And if we get in touch with the truth, then it is chiranavina. It is always ever new. It can never become boring. It can never become old. That is the Purana, means the ancient. Purana means ancient as well as immortal. It can never become old at all, because it is taking us to the Amrita, to the never-changing, everlasting truth. So, if the devotional part is missing in our any practice, then that practice will become stale. It is not only our prayer or singing or chanting, in mantra japa also. In many cases, we find that initially after taking initiation, people do the mantra japa. May not be what the Guru says at 1 hour or so, but at least half an hour, 40 minutes or 15 minutes they do. But after some time they leave it. And they think that by mechanical chanting of the mantra, whatever the Guru said, that will be had. It's not so. The mantra word means mananat trayati iti mantra. Mananat trayati iti mantra. So unless we do manana over the meaning of the mantra, whatever the words are, that meaning, suppose it is Namah Shivaya. What is the meaning of Namaha? What is the meaning of Shiva? What is the meaning of prostrating before Shiva? Unless we meditate on that meaning, the mantra japa will be having the effect of only the ants crawling. Like crawling over the years, some little mark will be there. It will never be fulfilling our goal. So, there I am saying that the Guru has given the mantra and we go on doing the japa, never thinking that in all other cases, suppose you are taking some food and your hunger is not subsiding, will you not question the food, that am I taking or it is something else, it is dream? Why am I still hungry? After eating for 1 hour, I am still feeling hungry. But in the case of having some puja or mantra japa, even if 60 years have passed, I have been doing the same thing and I was where I was, or maybe I have gone back a few steps back or a few miles back, we never come back to see that whether anything is wrong in our sadhana. There what I am saying is that we are missing we are not utilizing the buddhi which our shastras repeatedly exhort us to use that. So, we have to not only the manana, but we have to have the emotional association with that meaning. When we utter the namaha, our mind should melt with humility. It should melt with the greatness of what is that Shiva, what is that ultimate goal of Shiva. Shiva means Atma. What is that really that Atma, and what am I aiming at? When that becomes live in your mind, then the japa automatically becomes lively in us. And that japa will Initially, it is the flame lit by the Guru, but as we do it with the full bhava samshuddhi, with the full bhava, slowly it starts blazing forth. Finally, it engulfs us. The whole being becomes fire. That is the way the japa has to be done. But seldom we do it. So, when we have the emotional association, that is what I mean by bhakti. Bhakti, we think that it is going to the temple or doing some japa or doing puja. It's not so. Bhakti, in reality, it means surrender. But surrender also, how will we know whether we have surrendered or not? In most of the cases we have found, when people say that we have surrendered, actually they have surrendered to their own ego. There is a statement by mother of Pondicherry, suddenly I remembered, it may not be exactly like this, but somewhat like this. She had mentioned that when the devotees join the ashram, they all say, Mother, Mother, we have surrendered to you. But when they actually stay here, we find that they have surrendered nothing else than their common sense. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? She said that they have surrendered nothing other than their common sense. This is a statement from a mother of an ashram who had been in the ashram for maybe 70 years or 80 years, I don't know. It's a very, very long time. So, we have to know that what is this yoga? The yoga means union, fusion or union. What is this fusion or union they're talking about? It is the fusion of the small artificial posited ego we have created about ourselves, an egoistic identity we have created. Whenever I am referring to myself, we are thinking of myself with a small egoistic identity which consists of the mind, body and various imaginary things about myself, aggrandization qualities, aggrandizing qualities and all that. With that we have created our own image identity. And whenever we are referring to the I, that identity comes in mind. And the spiritual sadhana is meant to dissolve this identity, this small egoistic identity, in the universal, transcendental identity called the Atma or Brahman. It is a fusion of that small egoistic identity, I, in the unlimited, unfragmented, universal identity. Actually, it is transcendental because even if you say universal, you think of the universe, whole universe. But the real Atma is the revealer of the universe. It cannot be known as different from me at all. That we should know. Suppose even when we are trying for self-realization, we are meditating, we have a feeling that one day I will see the Atma, one day I will see the self. If we look into our mind, we will find there also we are making the mistake, as if the self is different from me. And as I am looking at the object, either the material objects or the dream objects, as we are looking at the dream objects also, some thought has come, somebody has arrived in my dream, we are looking at it. Like that, one day we will see the self also or the Atma also. It is not so. Atma is what I am. It cannot be seen as different from me at all. Only when we stop looking at the world, looking for anything other than the me, that means we don't want to see anything, we don't want to have anything from the external world or internal world, then the Atma reveals itself. Now, if this is the goal, where the egoistic identity gets dissolved in that subject identity, the universal transcendental. Why I am saying transcendental? Because if we call it one Atma, then also we have a feeling of an objective oneness, that this is one, this is not multiple. It cannot have any objective quality at all. Repeatedly the Upanishads have been saying, right from the beginning. It can be known only as amness in us. Now, if this is the goal, that I am, that identity is not a small, limited, body-mind limited identity, and it is same for all. The Atma is not divided by the bodies at all. Then if this has to become my identity, my universal identity, then what is the path? It is very clear as a thumb rule. If we have to become small to big to universal, what is the path? Is to expand. The path is to expand. So whatever expands our identity by whatever step we feel that we are not small, we are not separated, we are not fragmented, we are more and more inclusive about the whole world, that much we grow closer and closer to the real Atma. That Atma, which is the revealer of the entire objective world, it does not get touched by anything of the world, any change in the world. If anything is changeful, if anything is undergoing a motion, it means it is an object. We are able to see it, either subtle or gross. We are able to know it, we are able to see it. The Atma, which is the revealer of our entire objective world, it can never move because it is not in the objective can. It is the revealer of that, it is the seer, the knower of everything. So if we remember that, then we will not try to see that whatever mistakes we are making, that I am every day meditating to see one day suddenly the Atma will rise in my mind and I will become fulfilled, I will become a self-realized man. Now by all these wishful desires and all, what we are doing is we are deferring our goal and we are not making our sadhana also fruitful. Because our desire to become either self-realized or God-realized or to have a vision of God, it waits for the day when one day suddenly it will appear before us. And by that what will happen? Even if it appears, suppose I have a samadhi, a Nishchala samadhi, a Nirvikalpa samadhi, and there the ego gets fused into the transcendental universal I. Then when we come back again we are in the same soup. We are again having the raga dvesha, we are fighting with people, we are blaming people, we are becoming egoistic in our interactive life. And how many times we will go into the samadhi? We may go for 5 years also, but again after coming back it will be the same. It will not going to change. Whereas Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, they are clearly laying a road for us where every moment will become an expansion. Every moment will become a growth. It is not that I am meditating, morning I am meditating, evening I am taking food, going to sleep, and again next morning we are meditating. And every day throughout the interactive period, I remain where I was. It becomes a progressive life. It is not a cyclical life. Every moment we progress. Maybe the daily cycle is there, but the cycle is progressing towards the ultimate goal. So our sadhana becomes a lively sadhana. It becomes a sadhana for every moment. That every moment we grow and we can test it ourselves, looking at our mind, looking at our emotional disturbances or emotional expansion, looking at our buddhi, everything it is for us to look into and decide and to know whether I have progressed or not. It is for us to determine. So, how can the sadhana, whether in that case it becomes immaterial, whether one day I become self-realized or not, it becomes absolutely immaterial. The sadhana becomes so delightful, as everybody was saying, swadu swadu pade pade in Bhagavatam. We always think that swadu swadu pade pade means that harikatha, and it is very relishing, because our tendency is to enjoy there also. When we leave the worldly enjoyment, we try to enjoy either in meditation or in harikatha. That is again still the bhogecha is lying there. Suppose these 10 days of all these nectarine words, everything we listen, and we are so joyous early morning to night, after finishing with the nama japa, starting with the listening to the parayana, beautiful nectarine parayana, and finishing with the ecstatic nama japa. We are very delighted. But what happens after the 10 days? When this is over, what are we doing? Again getting back to the same Vishaya Katha, not Hari Katha. Is it not? the grandchild katha, the boss katha, the employee katha, and all full of blemishes, blaming this, blaming that, or praising all those things. So it is as long as we are trying to enjoy something from the world, bhogecha is there, the real internal growth does not take place. The Amrita Katha actually means that every time it should give us a touch of the eternal, touch of that unchanging reality. That is the Amrita. Amrita, we say nectarine. Well, it is nectarine when we think about the feeling it generates. Because getting a touch of the infinitude is nectarine, no doubt about it. But our focus is on that nectarine element, not on the infinitude. Not on the expansion. Not on the unaffectedness, which is spirituality. So, I thought of taking some shlokas from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which I have generally not been doing. I generally speak on Bhagavad Gita. And just to see what are we supposed to do. Because in the field of devotion as well as self-realization, there is lot of self-deception. Atma Vanchana. Self-deception. Let us see whether we can remove those to the extent possible to keep away the self-deception so that we can really progress and the world becomes a little better by our presence. And we are able to love everybody, be a little inclusive, including everybody, and always to be in that non-differential, loving atmosphere. It is when Uddhava asked from the 11th skanda, 19th chapter, I don't know whether anybody has already spoken, I am not sure. Not in English at least. It is the 19th chapter of 11th skanda of Srimad Bhagavata. From there a few shlokas I would take up. When Uddhava asked Krishna that you have spoken so many things about devotion, knowledge and everything, and you have also said that the knower is the Priyatama for you. It is most beloved for you. Not only in Uddhava Gita, but in Bhagavad Gita also, he has repeatedly spoken that 4 kinds of people worship me. Of them, the Jnani is the most favorite for me. Because Jnani is the shloka is Chaturvidha bhajante mam yana sukritino smritaha. Sukritino Arjuna. Of them, the arto jijnasu artharthi. Jnani cha bharatarshaha. That Jnani is most favorite because he is eka bhaktir vishishyate. His devotion is one-pointed. And one-pointed means where? To the one, to his Atma. And wherever Krishna is speaking about me, he enters me. Let us know that Krishna who was there in the Mahabharata field is no more there. So what is he meaning by he attains me, he enters me? This Krishna was one who had identified with the universal, unchanging, eternal identity. So that is our real identity. So when a person knows his Atma, he also identifies with his eternal, unchanging, immortal identity. That is how he becomes Krishna. He enters in Krishna, or he becomes Krishna, he attains Krishna. So wherever he is saying me, it is actually Krishna is saying me, because Krishna is a knower who has identified with the universal, unchanging, immortal, transcendental identity. That we should remember. Now, when Uddhava asked Krishna, he quotes from Mahabharata, where Yudhishthira asked Bhishma after the Mahabharata war. And from there he is quoting that what Bhishma instructed Yudhishthira. I will tell you that. He starts with that. This is our traditional Indian way of speaking, that they don't want to always put that this is what I have said. Even if a person writes something, he tries to relate, give it an eternal connection. Even Bhishma, while saying, Bhishma will say that this is what this is what Shiva had told to Parvati. Like that they will connect to finally to the creator or somebody. That I am not telling you anything new. It has been told from era to era by different people. By that what happens? The fundamental basis of the statement, that it is an eternal statement, it is an eternal truth, that gets forceful, that becomes forceful there. Not only that, there they are not having any egoistic identity with that I have spoken the truth and others have not. Like even now also, from outside, those who take our scripture and understand a little and write a bestseller, putting their name, particularly from other countries. Our country was not like that. If somebody has uttered some very good truth, they would like to put it into the existing scriptures so that the truth, what he said, remains valid. Nobody would know the name, who has written it, because it's all eternal statement. Who has written it or spoken it, that hardly matters. So all these small things also we should focus on, because it speaks of the great culture, the great tradition of Bharat. People will be surprised. It is amazing to know that what was this culture. Some of the shlokas say that in Kathopanishad, the 2 questions of Nachiketa. First one is common, but what about the second question? Similarly, the 6th shloka of Mundakopanishad. They are of such height of reason, rationality, that I think even scientists will find it extremely difficult to understand unless they pursue spiritual sadhana. It just cannot be understood only by the intellectual knowledge. It is such a great civilization, but when you look at it just as scientific statement also, it is amazing that how they are expressing this unexpressible truth, which is not in the objective field of knowledge at all. It is only because of their realization that they could do it. In the 19.20, the first verse there, he is saying, Shraddhamrita kathayam me shashvan madanu kirtanam parinishtha cha pujayam stutibhistvavanam mama. Shraddhamrita kathayam me shashvan madanu kirtanam parinishtha cha bhujayam stutibhistavanam mama. What are the things, what are the practices which will incorporate, which will inculcate devotion in us? That was the question. And he is talking about each practice which are essential or which are very efficient for inculcating true devotion in us. Shraddha amrita kathayam me shashvan madanu kirtanam. This Shraddha, there is no English equivalent. In Bhagavad Gita, 17th chapter, it says, Shraddha mayoyam purusha yo yat shraddha saeva saha. There Shraddha is used in the general sense. But in Vedanta, Shraddha is used Shraddha towards Guru Vakya and Shastra Vakya. That is one particular Shraddha, the Vedantic Shraddha, spiritual Shraddha is Shraddha towards Guru Vakya and Vedanta Vakya. Whereas general Shraddha is Shraddha mayoyam purusha yat shraddha sayeva saha. A man is an embodiment of his Shraddha, he is saying. Whatever a person has Shraddha for, he becomes that. This Shraddha, if we want to understand, may not be exact English translation, but it means what we value most. Evaluation in our mind. Suppose you value money to be the highest thing in life. So your mind will always be full of money thoughts, is it not so? How to get more money, how to increase it, how to multiply it, and all that thing. Suppose you consider fame or erudition, scholarliness to be the most valuable, great thing in life. Always you will think in that, in terms of fame or in terms of scholarliness. That means whatever you are valuing most, your mind will be full of such thoughts. So outside you might be looking entirely different. Whatever you look, you are that outside bodily. But inside, in your mind, it is all made of whatever your Shraddha is. That is the most important constituent in your being. Is it not so? So, this Shraddha is what you value, what we value most. So, Amrita Kathayam, that means we can say nectarine stories of Bhagavan, but it's not really so. Amrita means eternal. That means which is unchanging, which is always the same, always the true. That means just now whatever I have said about the Atma, about the soul, about the ultimate truth or Brahman, about that, speaking about that, unless we have Shraddha for that, how will you do it? Suppose here or any other cases, lecture when we were listening to the truth, Katha of the truth, about the truth. There our mind is focused on the truth. But as soon as the lecture is over, even if you have not left the hall, we are still in the hall, you will find that the whole gunjana in the hall is going on about, not about that Katha about the truth. But again, all our Vishaya Katha has invaded our mind. Is it not so? Is it not a truth? Always it is, immediately it will invade all kinds of worldly conversation, worldly thoughts, worldly things will, even before leaving the hall, always it happens. That means what? That means we don't have the Shraddha for the Amrita Katha. If you value that Katha most, then when you have listened to that, your mind will be full of that thought and you will not like to speak anything else. You will go back with that. There also, at home also, you will think about it. So, if we do that, it builds up an emotional association with us. This valuing means whatever our Shraddha is, we will be automatically, intensely, emotionally connected to that. That is the bhakti element there. The bhakti will grow by that. So, Shraddha Amrita Kathayam, that means we should value that truth, the expression of the truth. Amrita Katha means the expression about truth, speaking about truth. What is it? The thoughts about truth. All the Shastras are written on that. All the Prakarana Granthas are about that. There is so much to be thought about. So many shlokas can be repeated in your mind. Shraddha means we have to value it the most. But we don't value it. Our value is for our children, our grandchildren, our money, our building, our conveniences, comforts and inconveniences. Or even just finding out fault in others. There also we have lot of Shraddha. But here we don't have Shraddha. How can the devotion come then? So Shraddha means we have to value this most. As I always say, we call God supreme, but we give him always the last position. We have to give the supreme position in life. Then only our mind will get merged with the supreme. Slowly the merger will take place. More and more our mind becomes expanded. It becomes like sky. It becomes sky-like, spatial. We will come closer and closer to the Atma. We will become the Atma. The mind itself, the pure mind itself is the Atma. That is how we approach. Then it is not that one fine day, fine morning, we get up and have the siddhi or have the self-realization. It is not at all so. Every day will be a progress. Every day will become lively. Our sadhana will become lively. Parinishtha cha pujayam. This parinishtha, paritaha nishtha. Parinishtha means all around Nishtha, the word means nisheshena tishtati. That means don't leave anything at all other than that. Everything will be that. Parinishta means an all-round attention about puja. It does not mean that we have to cook 35, 36 items or 52 items of sweets and this and that and all kinds of flowers, putting lot of this thing, that thing, and calling Pandit and doing this, doing that, calling lot of people for inviting them for the puja. And what will they speak? Will they have the Madanu Kirtanam or Amrita Katha or some other Katha there also in the puja? They will come in beautiful dress, appreciate each other's dress, and all these things will go on. Neither Madanu Kirtanam nor Amrita Katha, all Vishaya Katha alone. So, Parinishta doesn't mean this ostentation. Ostentation means dambha, that show off. Puja should not be of showing off. Puja should not be also mechanical. Parinishta means what is the goal of the puja we should know. Goal of puja is to become the Deva. Devo bhutva devan apyeti. When we are doing the Vishnu puja, the goal of Vishnu puja is to become Vishnu. Vishnu, the word means vyapnoti ti Vishnu, means all pervading truth. Everywhere the infinite truth is called Vishnu. And where does Vishnu stay? Bhagavan? Vaikuntha. This Vaikuntha means Vikuntha. Kuntha means constriction of the mind. Vikuntha means when the constrictions are gone. So when the mind becomes universal, when it becomes expanded, infinite, then that itself is Vishnu Bhagavan's place. There Vishnu is there, right there. So Vishnu means Vyapnoti ti Vishnu, infinite. And Vaikuntha also means where there is no constriction, no limitation, no fragmentation at all. So we must know that this is the goal of puja. So if by doing puja we become more constricted, we become more selfish, then is it Parinishta? Parinishta means we have to know about the goal of the puja. The all round, what is the puja for? What am I aiming at by puja? Then that puja will inculcate devotion in us. Not our just puja by which selfishly we do puja. Well, it is good. I am not criticizing puja because at least that much of time, 5 minutes to 1 hour, whatever we do, that time we are not thinking of the world, we are thinking of Sam Deva Devi. That part definitely is important. I am not criticizing that. But how to cultivate real devotion through puja, we have to see. There the intelligence come in. There the Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha comes. Sharanam Anvicha, take refuge in Buddha, in Buddhi. So we have to understand in detail what is the aim of each. Stutibhi stavanam mama. To not only be attentive about the goal, Parinishta means attentive about the goal of puja, to praise him by his stuti and all. There are 3 kinds of stutis generally, they say. One is uttama, means when we have our swarachita stuti, that is suppose it is a stuti to a guru or to a deva, we compose our own, that is, it is a natural, spontaneous expression of our mind. That is called the uttama stuti. Madhyama stuti is where we use some shastric shlokas. That's generally what we do. In a mass prayer, it will always be like that. Because everybody, if 50 people start singing their own composition, then the prayer cannot take place. It will be cacophony also. So, this Madhyama Stuti is from the Vedic or Shastric, the scriptural shlokas and all. And Adhama Stuti also is there, where we praise God to fulfill some of our desires and all. That is asking for, that is also Stuti. Oh God, you are all pervading, not only all pervading, you are all powerful also. Please give me this, give me that. That is also a Stuti, but it is called Adhama Stuti. So here naturally, when we want our devotion to grow, the stuti will have to be spontaneous, natural, even if it is from the scriptures. We must have the emotional association with the scriptures. We may not be composing, but our hearts, all bhava, they should be associated with the chanting. Then only the chanting will become powerful. Just like the mantra, when we are chanting the shlokas also, when the bhava association is not there, it will not become powerful. When the bhava association is there, it will have tremendous transforming power in the ambience also. It will transform other people also. It is done by the bhava. The bhava is carried by the vehicle of the words. We are using words and tune. But that is only to reach the other people. Through that they get the real thing, the real power, the inspiration is carried by that vehicle and they gain it from there. Adarah paricharyayam sarvangaih abhibandanam. Adarah paricharyayam sarvangaih abhibandanam. Mad bhakta pujabhyadhika sarva bhuteshu manmatihi. Each word we have to understand. Adaraha paricharyayam. If we are doing something, as paricharya means, say if it is deva something, we are putting some arrangement, flower or decoration and all that. But if it is a living guru, then it is looking after all his necessities, cooking for him or helping him in his work of various kinds. There, paricharya means even helping him in any work. It's not that always to be with him and whatever he asks for we do. No, adaraha paricharyayam. Adaraha means it is connected to shraddha. Shraddha is the value you give to that. This value will be leading to adaraha. If you value something, will you not do adara? Adara means to respect and honor and to do something devotedly. Adara, what should be we can say respectful attention, working, helping him with serving with respectful attention. But first of all, that shraddha should be there. Suppose I stay with the Guru also. I stay with a knower, with the Guru. But I don't value his association. I don't have enough evaluation of where I am, what I am doing, how will it come? We have to evaluate first the knower, first the Guru, or with whom we are. When we know where is his position, then only we will value my position, that I am with the person always, I am helping him in this work. Unless we have a evaluation about the great work he is doing, the Brahma Vidya propagation work he is doing, for which he is in this world. Unless we evaluate his role, how can we evaluate my position who is helping him? So adaraha will not come. It comes from the shraddha. So one will lead to the other. Shraddha will lead to adaraha. Sarvangair abhibandanam. We do sashtanga pranam. Generally, this sashtanga pranama is explained in two manners. One is the 2 feet, 2 hands, 2 knees, and chest and the head. But the better one is 2 feet, 2 hands, and head, 5, and mind, buddhi, ahankara, mind, intelligence, and ego. This is the crux of the prostration. Just throwing ourselves on sarvanga, sashtanga pranama, kicking a few people backside without considering that they are standing there or not. That is not the real sashtanga pranama. Where is the mind? Where is the ahankara? Where is the buddhi? All have to be humble. The mind should become absolutely melted while doing the pranama. How will it happen? Again, that Shraddha. That is why they started the shlokas. This portion is starting with Shraddha. The first word is Shraddha. Without Shraddha, nothing of these will come. So first is Shraddha. If we have the Shraddha, then we know that it is the humility of the mind, the intelligence to curb all its egoistic criticism, everything. We are quite critical about our Guru also. We are free to do it, but at the same time we should look into our mind that it is done with humility. What about our ego? Whether it is humbled in prostrating. One person prostrated before Swamiji and said that, I have never prostrated before anybody. This is my first, I am prostrating before you. That means Swamiji should be very happy that we have got today, my value has gone up because somebody has prostrated who has never prostrated before anybody. So it's really telling that, Swamiji, you should be very feel honored that I have prostrated before you. See how, but it is a Shashtanga pranama. We had another pranama where we always say that keep our ashram in the morning, we have to do, many people will do the Pushpa Samarpanam pranama and all. Or after that Swamiji speaks for some time, which we call Prabhata Rashmi. That Prabhata Kiranangal book you found, it was released here. That is the morning lecture of Swamiji. So, if the prostration takes too much time, then that lecture part, the message part will not be there. So, everybody has to keep in mind the goal, that where have we come for. And it does not need the body to be in front of Swamiji for such a long time to have the mind, buddhi and the ahankara to prostrate. That can be finished in a single phase also, if it is the Shashtanga, maximum 2 phases standing and then throwing the flower and you lie. But not 4 phases, 5 phases of pranama, it goes on quite some time. One person also there, it was very interesting, after the 4-phase pranama, he will spin, not turn, spin, and in the process he will hit with his hand and feet so many people around. See how we take to deception. These are all deceptive devotion. It is all showing of ostentation. It is not devotion. You may think that I am criticizing so much, but without criticism, how can we criticize ourselves? Adarah paricharyayam sarvangair abhibandanam mad bhakta puja abhyadhika. See, he is giving abhyadhika, means the most important is worshipping my devotees. We are all worshipping Krishna, but what about worshipping his devotees? There we lack. I again remember in Delhi, Swamiji used to go for house visits. That now he has become very busy and old also. Those had stopped quite a few years back, it was stopped. Earlier we used to go for house visits, many houses Swamiji used to visit. There, I am remembering of a time when I had not taken up sannyasa. I was in white dress, but I was in the ashram. And I would go with Swamiji. So if it happens that that Swamiji has got down there and we have to go for some other work, that is Swamiji is not in the car, but I am still in the car, our devotee traveling with us will light the cigarette and start smoking in the car. Actually, it was one point for which I took up sannyasa. I was deferring the sannyasa, but the moment Swamiji goes, they start speaking to us all, whatever they otherwise converse with other people. Until you take up this dress, people will not talk about divinity or spirituality or anything. So, Mad Bhakta Puja, that means honoring those who are devoted to the Lord or to the Guru also. Those who are, suppose in an ashram, there are so many renunciates. Should we not at least think that these people, they have left their profession, house, at a very early, young age? We are enjoying so many things of the world. They don't go for those enjoyments. What is special in them? Should we not? This is what the Shraddha again. Are we valuing that? Are we valuing renunciation? If we value renunciation, then the moment we find somebody has renunciated, should we not have enough of adara for that? But we generally miss. In house visits again, not only in Delhi, everywhere it used to happen that Swamiji has come with about 15 or 20 devotees with him. But the house owner will, the moment Swamiji alights, they are so overjoyed with that and doing that. All the house people, they are also large number, the relatives have come. They all of them go away with Swamiji inside, and all the devotees remain outside looking here and there what to do, what not to do. Ashram also it used to happen. The bell rings for food and everybody goes away without looking at the newcomers that they have to be taken for food. They have come with devotion to Swamiji. Whoever has come is a devotee. So this is, he has written Abhyadhika, means most important, it's a great importance to be given, greatest importance to be given to Mad Bhakta, those who are devoted to me. Me means Krishna, but me, Krishna, who has identified with the Atma, so anybody devoted to Atma is also anywhere. Krishna is not there. But Krishna, when he identified with the Atma, he became immortal. That way he is there. Now, here also Mad Bhakta he has said, but suppose the Bhakta is not a Bhakta, then at least there also we have to give some respect for the external, whatever. Suppose a sannyasin is there. Even if he is not having the qualities of a sannyasin, we are supposed to give him respect. In our ashram, we generally do it. Some sort of respect should be given. It's not that you are not choosing anything. In any public place, you have to make certain choices. But it has to be done very judiciously, with full respect, not ignoring anything, not disrespecting anything. It's not that we are inviting everybody to stay and live with us. It's not so. It's not possible. But whoever comes, we should not ignore or disrespect anybody. Sarva bhuteshu manmatihi. See, sarva bhuteshu manmatihi. That means you consider everybody as me, as the God or as the Atma. Now this can easily be understood from the knowledge point of view that everything is appearing in the consciousness, in the Atma. The whole world is appearing in the Atma. It's fine. It can be understood. But to test it, that is it so? In Samadhi, I may have attained the universality, I may have got merged in the Atma. Coming back in my interactions, in my interactive behavior, am I having that? Because you cannot interact if you see all are Brahman, then there cannot be any interaction. Because it is not the seeing of the eyes, all are consciousness or all are Brahman. It is not a vision of the eye, it is ikshana, it is a vision of the buddhi. So in the buddhi where this uniformity, oneness has dawned or not, that will be determined by the freedom from ragadvesha in the interactive state. The ragadvesha, as long as ragadvesha is there, you cannot say that I see everybody as God. I have no differentiation. I see everybody as God. We have to see whether we still have ragadvesha. We have the blaming tendencies. We have the other things or not. Without that, it cannot be accepted. So, sarva bhuteshu manmatihi has to be like that. Madartheshu angacheshta cha vachasa mad guneranam mai arpanam cha manasaha sarva kama vivarjanam. Madartheshu angacheshta, that all the efforts, the bodily efforts, actually not only bodily, mental, intellectual, intelligential, all efforts, it should be madartheshu. That means all directed toward the ultimate goal. How will it be directed towards the ultimate goal? We say surrender, surrender, surrender. But how do we know that we have surrendered to the Lord? Ramana Maharshi has said, Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam. That means whenever we are not doing anything out of desire, akanksha, so it becomes Ishwararpitam. Actually, to see the surrender, whether I am surrendered or not, there is no point in saying that I am surrendered, even in our mind saying that. If we are surrendered, then we must feel the refuge that I am in the lap of God. That feeling of refuge, ashraya bodha. In Sanskrit we call it ashraya bodha. Surrender or samarpana or sharanagati means ashraya bodha. Bodha means it's a feeling. We must feel that we are in the refuge of God. That means whatever happens, we must accept it. Whatever is given by the world or taken away by the Lord, we must accept it because it has been taken away by the Lord. And I am in the refuge of the Lord. So, surrender means a complete acceptance of everything. You can do social movement, you can do everything. But whatever happens to you, you have to accept it. Whatever has happened, what is the point in complaining about it? Suppose you have lost your all property, building, kith and kin, your money, everything is lost. And you are howling and crying, why? See, whatever has happened, is there any point in now saying like that? And the stress and tension you are feeling in your mind because you have lost everything, it is only because of the non-readiness of your mind to accept the situation. By that, the situation is not going to change. It has already happened. It is past. Am I clear? The situation has happened. It is past. You cannot change it. Whatever you have to do in future, you can do. That is different. But the present suffering you are having, the howling you are doing, crying you are doing, the tension you are feeling, it is only for the mind's non-readiness to accept the situation which has happened. The moment we operate this acceptance button, we accept, all the tension will go, all the howling will go. You will still have the same situation, you have lost everything. And you will be able to gain back whatever you have to do. The path will be open before you in a peaceful set of mind. The mind will immediately become peaceful. The solution will be much more efficient and immediate. It is only the non-readiness of our mind that is causing the tension. The tension will go by the acceptance. We should understand these scientific, rational tips at least, if not as devotion, but as a simple tips. Because all of us, we are not liking tension. We want to get rid of the tension. Nobody likes tension. Nobody likes stress. It's a very easy way of get rid of stress and tension. Now this, when my arpanam ja manasaha, that this arpana, samarpana buddhi, the surrender, it means the feeling of refuge, the ashraya bodha, and acceptance, not getting agitated, not getting affected by anything at all. It comes from sarva kama vivarjitam, by abandonment of all the desires. See how it starts and how it comes. It started with Shraddha and ending with the abandon, the renunciation of all desires. Because in Kathopanishad also it is like that. It starts with Shraddha dawned in Nachiketa's mind. There the real message started. And at the end, what is that? Yada sarve pramuchyante kama yasya hridishritaha athamatyo amrito bhavati atra brahma samashnute. Yada hridi ashritaha sarve kamaha pramuchyante. The desires seated in our heart, deeply seated in our heart, when all of them are cut asunder, thrown out, when they are cleared, then what happens? Atha matyo amrito bhavati. The mortal man becomes immortal. Atha matyo amrito bhavati. Atra brahma samashnute. Here itself, in this world, in this body, Brahman becomes attained. Not after the body falls. It is before the body falls. Here itself he attains. Where? When all the kamas, all the desires of the heart are cut asunder, are all cleared, all clean. Even Mundaka Upanishad also towards the end it says, Vidyate hridaya granthihi chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. Tasmin drishte paravare. Para avara. In the great, in the small, in meditation, out of meditation, in all sthiti, everywhere, when he finds the truth and truth alone, everywhere, then what happens? 3 are the developments. What is that? Vidyate hridaya granthi. That constriction in the heart, which is coming from desire, from the smallness, from the ego, whatever you say, desire and ego are the same. From the bhogecha. The bhogecha means to enjoy from the world. We don't see that whole world, people have enjoyed. Has anybody become fulfilled by enjoying anything? The richest person in the world, the most famous person in the world, have they become fulfilled? But still we consider that I will become fulfilled by getting a building. I will become fulfilled by getting some more money. I will become fulfilled by getting a promotion. And I become happy initially when we get what we desire. But how long? Till another desire comes and make me disturbed again. So it is not the fulfillment of the desire that is going to make us happy. It is the elimination of the desires which is going to make us happy. So in Mundaka Upanishad he is saying, when a person sees the truth everywhere, in meditation, out of meditation, in the small, in the great, everywhere, then what happens? 3. Vidyate hridaya granthihi. The constriction, the knots of the heart, the constriction of the heart, the ego, the desires, everything gets dissolved. Number 1. Number 2, chidyante sarva samshayaha. All the doubts of the intelligence, they get removed. All the doubts are where? Doubts are in the intelligence. So he becomes doubtless. The first one is, he becomes infinite, Purna. Purna is not just filling in something. Purna comes only out of infinitude. Purnata. So the first is the emotional fulfillment, you can say. Vidyate hridaya granthi is an emotional fulfillment. He doesn't want anything from the world at all anymore. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyatena adhikam tataha. By getting what? Nothing more remains to be gained from the world. Yam labdva cha aparam labham manyatena adhikam tataha. And the second one is the intelligential fulfillment, doubtlessness, that intelligence will have no more query. That also in Mundaka Upanishad, the first question of Shaunaka to Angiras was, Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati iti. Oh Lord, by knowing which everything will become known. That means I am still having questions. I will not have any more question, any more inquiry. And what is the third one? Kshiyante chasya karmani. He will not have anything more to be done, or his doership will be completely dissolved. Doership in 2 cases. I have done this, I have done that. Either we are feeling aggrandized by something great I have done, or we are feeling sinful by something wrong I have done. Both will not be there. Or we think that I will have to do this, I will do this, I will do that, I will get this for my children or grandchildren. That also will not be there. He will not have any doership at all. But maybe he will do 10 times the work of others, those who are doing with the doership. But he will do it without doership. So this is what Mundaka Upanishad also says. The desire is the most important. We are born with an abhava bodha. Abhava bodha, you understand? An insufficiency in us. We are born with an insufficiency, abhava bodha, and a delusion that something from the external world will make us fulfill. Something from the objective world will make us happy. And we go on moving with that with the abhava bodha and the delusion that something from the external will fulfill it. Nothing fulfills. Still we run after that. Like I generally show a picture there with the donkey and the carrot. The carrot is hanging in front and the donkey is running. And what do? We utilize its running by putting some load on the donkey to carry our baggage. Like that we carry on the baggage thinking that by carrying I will get the carrot. But the carrot remains equidistant. It goes on running. So, madartheshu angacheshta. Even this arrangement of this Bhagavata Satram, those who are doing, they have nothing to gain from it. They are doing it for madartheshu, for Ishwararpitam. Angacheshta, how much of effort is there to make you listen and to enjoy for 10 days? Vachasa mad guneranam. Iranam. Mad guna iranam. Iranam means churning. Iranam means we do the buttermilk with churning rod, like that. That mad guna, what represents mad, that ultimate truth, that is always done in the Shastras. Can we not do that churning with the Shastric statements, the Shastric truths? Always think about it, apply it. It is not anything out of the world at all. Because Shastras are speaking about the same truth. Everywhere you read one shloka, it is the same. Everything is the same. But when we apply it to our life, it becomes Vaichitra, it becomes variety. And every step of life, every moment of life, we have to think that how I can incorporate Madguna here. Madguna means the guna of the Atma here. How can I behave so that in interactive life also I am closest to the Atma? That means the selfishness is less, the blamefulness, fighting tendencies, intolerance, everything is reducing or not. That means, am I expanding? Looking within and finding out, is my mind expanding or not? That becomes, every step of life becomes so blissful by that. Because there is lot of joy in expansion, lot of joy in purification. That joy of purification, joy of removing the victory over our lower tendencies, the joy of victory, winning over the lower tendencies, all that is much greater than the joy we are getting from worldly discussions and other things. So the sadhana will become absolutely live in our life, every moment. Mai arpanam ja manasaha sarva kama vivarjanam. This I have already explained. So I will stop only chanting the 12th chapter of Bhagavatam. Maybe one or two words I will explain there if time is there. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranamamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsyamekamalam Jnanam Param Giyate. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranamamalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam Yasmin Paramahamsyamekamalam Jnanam Param Giyate. Tatra jnana viraga bhakti sahitam naishkarmyamavishkritam tat shrinvan vipathan vicharana paro bhaktya vimucyen naraha. Just a few words I wanted to point out here. See, he is saying tatra jnana viraga bhakti sahitam. Jnana viraga bhakti sahitam. This jnana, this knowledge, will definitely needs to viraga or vairagya, or remove the raga from our mind. Raga means color. Color we apply to the world. This is me, this is mine, etc. That color. This I like, this I don't like. Raga dvesha. All those, this knowledge should remove. If I have known the truth of the Upanishads about the Brahman or about the Atma, and this raga dvesha is not leaving my mind, then there is something wrong in my knowledge. One should lead to the other. Jnana must lead to viraga. And this vairagya should lead to bhakti. The Shuddha Bhakti and Shuddha Jnana both are same. By the viraga and bhakti, the jnana will get purified. The knowledge will become the supreme knowledge, the pure knowledge. And by that knowledge, whatever bhakti is developing, that bhakti is the Shuddha Bhakti. That is not making us constricted in any way at all. Bhakti is the emotional part of the same thing. The knowledge and the bhakti, they go together. By that what happens? Jnana viraga bhakti sahitam naishkarmyam avishkritam. It is an avishkarana. Naishkarmyam. That means the non-doership. Naishkarma does not mean that he doesn't do anything at all outwardly. He can do 10 times the work of others, but the non-doership in his mind, that is called the Naishkarmya. It is an internal development. It has to be discovered within. How? It is not to be discovered outside, that I have left everything and come away. I am now in Naishkarmya. No, it cannot be seen outside at all. Naishkarmya has to be discovered within. When the vairagya dawns, the mind becomes spatial. The mind melts in devotion to that great supreme reality, gratitude for that, dhanyata, thinking about that. Then that parallelly results in a naishkarmya, a non-doership. Tat shinvan vipathan vicharana paro. Intelligence in devotional pursuit. Shinvan vipathan. Listening to this truth, reading about it with specific attention, and vicharana paro. Vichara. This vichara is what the intelligence has to do. Yoga Vasishtha says, vichara tikshnatamethya dhihi pashyati parampadam. Dirgha samsara rogasya vicharohi mahaushadham. In this ancient disease called worldliness, not the world. World will remain the same. Nothing will change in the world. The problem is within, in our mind, the worldliness in our inner being. The ancient disease of worldliness, the great medicine for that, mahaushadham, is vichara. What happens by vichara? Vichara tikshnatamethya dhihi pashyati parampadam. It is not the sharpness of intelligence. This tikshnata is a purification of the intelligence by which it becomes sukshmadarshi. It understands the subtle truths. By constant vichara, it is not that we are gaining the knowledge as we learn in science or mathematics or other things. This knowledge is not like that. Through the vichara, the knowledge, whatever is the knowledge, that adhyatmika knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, it is about what? About our own self, about our atma, about our real identity. So by repeated vichara, whatever we are initially knowing as the atma, that becomes ourself. The whole thing, the atma, becomes what we are, our real identity. So it is the dhihi, the buddhi, which sees the ultimate, supreme goal. Vichara tikshnatam etya dhihi pashyati parampadam. Dirgha samsara rogasya vicharo hi mahaushadam. Okay, I will stop just chanting one verse. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nityabodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi. Hari.